Okay, I find myself in an interesting spot because I'm in the middle of the bronze grind on this character, and I've come to, well, I don't want to say enjoy it, but I've come to dislike the grind itself less. And there's been a number of reasons for that. And, well, one of these reasons I've known for a long time, the others are kind of interesting. It seems like Iron Gate are going to expand, at least in Hildir's quest, on one of those. So, number one, the thing that made my grind a lot more bearable is doing a little mining project before actually starting with the copper. So I had two very large rocks here. You can still see some chunks here that I've yet to get. And I just took a couple of antler pickaxes to these, stacked myself up a bunch of stone on my base, and I've just got that nice and ready for carve sailing, at least. And that got my pickaxe level around to 22 or so, and that made the initial grinds gathering super easy. I usually go and make 3 antler pickaxes, and then I go use those, get my forge mats, get an adze, get all my workbench stuff upgraded up, so quality 4 club with the adze, quality 4 fine wood bow, I log roll for the fine wood bow and the adze, stag breaker up to quality 3. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of domination, very satisfying. You can go right into more burial chambers and just absolutely tear through them with the quality 4 club and stag breaker. And it's just a great time. Quality 4 club does a number on Grey Dwarves. Very easy to 1-2 tap them. And that brings me to the second point. Grey Dwarves. There were a large lack of Grey Dwarves. Usually, a pair of Grey Dwarves will spawn in very frequently and mess up your bronze grind. Oh, it is really annoying when you're just trying to mine and get your inventory filled up, and there's just 2 little fellas coming at you with them blue eyes. Oh no, that is unpleasant, and it is not necessarily an interesting interruption to the grind. And that's where I propose that we should fix that, which is these stone projects don't really have an interesting incentive if they're not specifically blocking some sort of route that you'll need to clear sooner or later. And the Grey Dwarves aren't particularly interesting to take out, at least when they're regular Grey Dwarves, just 2 of them sporadically. Gets to be pretty annoying. Now what I think there should be a chance when mining some of these rocks here, the large ones, that there should be amber, maybe even a ruby. I think that would be an interesting incentive, and maybe Hugin could mention it. Like, oh, you crafted pickaxe, go try it out on some rocks, see what will happen. And then maybe these flat rocks over here, there could be a small chance of there being chitin inside them. Maybe not too many, but a decent amount, you know? Something that would make mining all the chitin around the world out of these rocks be pretty satisfying. Something that you could do, but it would be a pain in the ass compared to, like, leviathans, you know what I mean? But still incentivizing. And it would get your pickaxe levels up, so by the time that you were wanting to go upgrade your gear, go get some bronze stuff, maybe a bronze buckler to pair with an abyssal razor or something, or an apt gear, my preference. Something like that would actually be much smoother for the average player and all of the returning players. Now, Grey Dwarves' solution I would have is let's have them be a little bit smarter. Right now, their AI is it's okay. I mean, all the circling, circling, and then maybe approaching, sometimes not, sometimes yes, that works when the enemies really pose a challenge. So, locks have that. Sometimes they go right for you. Sometimes they circle a little bit and juke you out. Oh, those juke out moments can be pretty terrifying. Fullings have them too. Seekers have them now as well. Although Seekers are very linear, so they're super easy to flank. They were even more linear in the past, but yeah. Anyway. They're not very interesting. The starred ones, a little bit more interesting. You got to be on your toes a little bit once you're kitted up with some decent amount of gear, meadows-wise, upgraded. Maybe you got your quality 3 wood shield, quality 3 club, or even a flint weapon. Regular Grey Dwarfs, nah. Star Grey Dwarfs, that's interesting. So, what I think is the best solution, have them be a little bit more wise, a little bit more conniving, a little bit more structured, because all of the groups where you have somewhat of leaders with Grey Dwarfs, very interesting. So, whenever you have a tiny square little stone ruin with maybe a chest in there, there's a bunch of Grey Dwarfs and then a shaman. If you have a building, then there's a bunch of regular Grey Dwarfs and then maybe a brute. All of that's very interesting, and I like that a lot. At nighttime, there's just wandering brutes and shamans, and those are wonderful. I like that. What I don't like is just the 2 Grey Dwarfs. So, I think they should start spawning when you start pickaxing, but stay away. And then the longer you pickaxe, the more of them should spawn. And of course, with higher frequency comes higher chance of them being starred. After a certain amount of them spawn in, there should be a guaranteed addition to a shaman. After a certain point after that, a guaranteed brute. And then capping out at a certain amount of Grey Dwarfs. And they shouldn't immediately aggro either. Once they have hit that cap, maybe they start wandering over, but only when the pickaxe noises have stopped. Only then. And now, once you're done gathering up your goods, now you have an interesting encounter. Maybe something that could teach you the usage of proper AoE with either Stagbreaker or at gear, or maybe the usage of jumping up on rocks or even copper deposits if you've been digging around, taking terrain influence and using a bow with fire arrows perhaps, because fire arrows are exceptionally good at taking out starred brutes and shamans early, especially good for that. So I like that incentivization. I think that fighting a group of Grey Dwarfs after you've just done a whole bunch of mining was something that's going to be pretty exciting, pretty satisfying, much more than just the small annoying trickle of like 1 or 2 Grey Dwarfs at a time. It's not very interesting at all. Now, the next thing, the thing that I think that Iron Gate have actually put and are going to, well, they're in the process of putting really good effort and development into breaking up the Bronze Age grind. And maybe breaking up the Bronze Age grind wasn't exactly their intent, but that's how it kind of functions, is the upcoming Hildir's Quest update. See, after a certain point in the Bronze grind, to break it up, what I love to do is get all of the essentials that take a lot of time to stockpile resources. So, all of the bronze goodies, you got your cultivator, fermenter, cauldron. I like to get carve mats, an at gear quality 2 to defend that said carve from trolls and to get them polearm levels. And then the bronze axe, of course, to get all that fine wood. And said fine wood I use to make portals, at which point I can take a spare Explorer Pocket portal with me and go adventure out into the wilderness. And oh man, is it really fun to just go on this adventure after spending however long grinding out bronze. For me, it wasn't that long time at all. Didn't take that much time at all. I had minimal annoyances from Grey Dwarfs, which is very satisfying. And then I had, I had those pickaxe levels, the early pickaxe levels that really helped me out. I only needed to take 2 pickaxes, antler pickaxes with me, and the second one didn't even break before my inventory was full. Of course, I don't have the Megan Yord. Haven't found the merchant yet, but taking the pocket portal, adventuring around, trying to find Hildir or Haldor, either one, is just an amazing way to break up that grind, and just being able to go back into burial chambers, go dungeoneering for more cores, if you find even more cool spots that you weren't even intending to find, like the Elder spot, or early plains, early swamps, maybe a good mountain spot that you think you would have a great outpost for. So, for example, I have a outpost spot that I've marked here. It's a silver river. There's this great mountain that just goes right down to this river. This river I've scouted out. It's really nice to be sailing. I've got early plains up here, marked the fulling camp. This one is right near the Elder. I've got a portal right here. This lake is just excellent for base building if I want to go aesthetic. And then, of course, I found a variety of Draugr villages in here. I assume there might be one more in there, but I could be wrong. It's just going to be really good, especially when I'm trying to smelt iron. I can break down all of these villages for wood and easily smelt that into, or refine it into coal and just make that good stuff there. I've also went and found this coastal leviathan here. So when I return to the Bronze Age grind, once I have my Megging Gjord, and I can have even more efficient mining and inventory loads, where I load it up into my own inventory and then into a carve or a cart, and then bring it back, then I have all of that weight capacity. I can then I can make bronze pickaxe, upgrade that to quality 4 for maximum efficiency, and then I can go to this coastal leviathan in a carve and try to mine all of the chitin that I possibly can. There is a 10% chance each time you pickaxe on its back that it will start its sinking animation. So you want to have the strongest pickaxe at this time that you can, which is of course a quality 4 bronze pickaxe. How do you get quality 4 stuff? Well, early swamp. And see, I have early swamp here. You can just adventure in there. Been trying to find some turnip seeds. Failed so far. It's painful sometimes, but I seem to have quite big swamps in here. Been fermenting some poison res mead for that. And you can see that I'm still in the Bronze Age, but I have quite a bit of fun adventures that I can do to break up moment-to-moment grinds and make things more interesting. And this is purely incentivized and purely started off as a search for Haldor. And now the search for Hildir is going to be, well, much more of the same. And so the adventures will be incredible, and once I return to the Bronze Age, I will be satisfied and ready. And I think that the Bronze Age overall is just going to be better off because of it. Do I think that something else could still be done? Yeah, I think the bronze conversion recipe could be a little bit better. So that's the main thing. If you've been a long-time fan of the channel, the main thing that I've suggested for the Bronze Age grind is a better conversion rate. Right now we have a 2 bars copper, 1 bar tin into 1 bar bronze. That's very silly. I know it's like the devs can say, oh, well, it makes sense because we're in Valheim. We're not using real world conversion rates of like 5 copper plus 1 tin equals 6 bars bronze, even though I would prefer that. It's still painful, you know? It's not as wonderful a conversion rate as we would like. It's not nearly as satisfying as, say, popping silver or finding a sunken crypt chest with like 20 iron in it and 3 chain, something absurd like that. I've had that happen to me before, and it's an amazing feeling. Mining out a bunch of copper is not really an amazing feeling. So, maybe the conversion rate could be changed a little bit. Or maybe something else satisfying could be added. So remember when I said about the amber, the chitin, and the rubies and stones of certain kinds? Maybe something else could be added to the copper deposits, silver deposits, not silver deposits, tin deposits, maybe something else. What else? Maybe gold. I don't know. I think that would be cool. I think the idea of gold bars or gold ore is just such a great notion that we're kind of lacking. Like, where'd all the coins come from? They gotta come from somewhere. What could we do with the gold? I don't know. Maybe we make a certain unique alloy along with, well, preferably not iron, but maybe copper. Maybe we make a very unique style of Dvergr alloy after we meet Haldor, or maybe even Hildir. Maybe this all kind of combines together in a very interesting way. Or maybe we just use it for decorative gold stacks. Preferably, I would love stacks of bars, metal bars, just like how we have stacks of stone and wood and fine wood like this. I think that would be really cool. And to have a selection of all the metal bars stacked up in a room with a lot of good lighting would be an amazing decor. And me being a good decorator, well, I try to be. That seems like something that I would be really interested in. Now let me know what you guys think of all these weird ideas that would make the Bronze Age much more palatable, much more interesting. I've been surprisingly enjoying my Bronze Age time, although I very much take my time in stuff that's not directly part of the grind. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys some other time. Bye.